Accept Christ now before it's too late. You see how this world is going. You have a lot of people who think that they have all the time in the world to accept Jesus. You got people to where they'll deny Christ for year after year. They'll deny him and say, I'll follow Christ later. I'll follow Christ at a later date. Well, may I tell you something. Accept Christ now before it's too late. May I tell you something. We don't know when tomorrow brings. We don't know what's going to hold in the future. It's best to accept Christ before it's too late. May I tell you something. There's many people right now who are in hell. Many people right now who did not even get a chance to accept Christ. And right now they're in hell in torment. All because they chose not to accept Christ. And now guess what? They are now stuck with that choice of being in hell forever. Because that was a choice. You see, God, he allows us. Christ died for our sins. Christ died for me. He died for you. He died for everybody. But guess what? It's up to people whether they choose to accept it or not. You see, God gives all of us free will. And when God gives you free will, it's up to you what you choose to do with that free will. You could either use it to accept Christ, or you could use it to go after the enemy and go after your own path. And you see, may I tell you something. When you accept Christ before it's too late, it makes your whole life much better. Not only are you saved, he directs you. You see, you could avoid many issues once you're following Christ. You see, the reason why many people go through so much drama and go through so many issues because they choose not to accept Christ. They choose to live life in their own terms. They choose to do what they want. They choose to follow after their own path. They choose to hang around those friends, even though God probably told them to cut them off. They choose to date that man, date that woman, even though God says cut that person off. They're not your ordained spouse. They're not good for you. So many people, they often end up with problems in life. They end up going through stuff that they never sure went through. They go through stuff that they could easily avoid it if they accepted Christ. For all you men who are going through that issue with that woman who you had that kid with, God probably told you that woman was not your spouse. He probably told you already to cut that woman off. She's trouble. And guess what? Now you stuck in drama with her. Now you stuck probably paying a bunch of child support every month. All because you did not follow God's instructions. No different than some of you women. Some of you women probably had multiple kids by multiple men. God told you that those men were not good for you. But guess what? You chose to go on your own path. You chose not to listen. Now guess what? Now you probably stuck raising those kids by yourself. When you could have just easily followed God's path. You could have just easily followed his directions. You see, when you accept Christ, especially at an early age, you avoid a lot of drama. You avoid a lot of sinful habits. You avoid the smoking, the drinking. You avoid the partying addiction. You avoid the fornication, the adultery. You see, you avoid many issues. May I tell you something? If you're a young person, accept Christ before it's too late. Because it will be more worth it. It's more worth it when you accept Christ at an earlier age. Don't wait till you get late. Because even if God spares your life when you get late, it's still not a great idea. Because by the time you accept Christ, you might already have a bunch of problems. You see, you accepting Christ at 16 versus you accepting Christ at 45, there's going to be a big difference. At 16, you probably ain't done nothing yet. You probably ain't smoked. You probably ain't been drunk. You probably not fornicated yet. So you're still pure in many categories. You're still clean. You have not gotten in sin yet most of the time. But guess what? Versus you accepting Christ at 45, you probably done everything. You probably been to every party. You probably smoked all the weed, did all the crack, all the heroin. You probably drunk all the alcohol. Now your liver is messed up. You probably fornicated with 50 women, 50 men. You probably adultery, been with married people's married spouses. You know, you probably been through so much drama. So by the time you accept Christ, it's a whole lot of cleaning up to do. It's a whole lot of deliverance to do. And may I tell you something? The longer you take to accept Christ when God calls you, the longer it's going to take when you come into his kingdom to get your blessings, because it's not fair. Because you have people to where when God calls them, they come in the kingdom automatically. You said those people, they're entitled to blessings first. They're entitled because they came in when God told them. They didn't wait, they didn't prolong, and they just came in. Versus a person who wait 15 years, then all of a sudden they say, okay, God, now I'm going to come in. No, that person deserves to wait for their blessings, because that's not fair. How you just want to just ask God to just give you a bunch of blessings when you denied him, when you held him off for so long? That ain't fair. You deserve to wait. You deserve, the people who came into God's kingdom the moment he told them, they deserve to get the blessings. They deserve to get the real blessings immediately. Because they came in. Of course, they're going to go through persecution. They're going to go through trials just like anybody else. But they're entitled to blessings first before you are. Because you held God off for a long period of time. You see, accept Christ before it's too late. It's a very important category that many people need to realize. Because when you don't accept Christ, man, your whole life will be filled with chaos. I see many people's whole lives, they could easily have been avoided if they would have just accepted Christ in the beginning. Their whole life would have been much easier. if they would have been in a much better situation. But nevertheless, guys, just be smart. You see, when you accept Christ, especially your early age, you're being smart. You're making the most wisest decision you can in your life. Because when God's directing you, you will never fall. When God's directing your path, you will never stumble. You always win. You always be at the top. You always succeed because God knows what's best for you, and God does not make mistakes. He'll never lead you off the wrong path. You see, the reason why people become Christian, they get led in the wrong path, is either the enemy leads them or they come off, they backslide themselves. It's never God doing it. It's themselves. Because when God guiding you, you always gonna win in life. When God guiding you, you always get the blessed blessings. You always get what's best for you. When God guiding you and you're a man, you get the best wife. That's best for you. That's fit for your life. When God guiding you, a woman, you get the best husband. That's fit for your life. When God guiding you, you get the best friends. That's best for your life. When God guiding you, you'll get the best people that's going to help you along your path, help you get stronger in God. He's going to send the right people who are going to love you for you and not for materialistic nonsense. But you see, that's when God's guiding you. Versus when you're guiding yourself. And when you're guiding yourself, you end up going off in your own path and you end up destroying yourself because God knows what's best for you. You see, this is why the enemy, he laughs at many human beings. Because if God not guiding you, you're just a ticking time bomb waiting to destruct. Because you would think that you have life figured out. You would think, oh, these group of friends is best for me. I know what I'm doing. Oh, this man, they're best for me. If you're a woman, you're probably saying that. You think you know what you're doing. If you're a man, you probably think, oh, this woman best for me. I know what I'm doing. Ain't nobody can play me. I'm too smart. I'm too ahead of the game. You ain't ahead of nothing if God ain't guiding you. If you don't have God in your life, if you choose not to accept God, you're just a ticking time bomb waiting to destruct. Because the enemy gonna come in, and since God not guiding you, your discernment not gonna be in hype. It's not gonna be on point. So the enemy will manipulate you. He'll send people your way thinking they're nice, thinking that you're friends. They'll smile in your face. They'll laugh with you, crack jokes. Next thing you know, they end up turning on you. Next thing you know, they end up being something that you completely did not expect. But you see, that's what happens when you don't have God guiding you. When you don't have God guiding you, that's what's going to happen. You end up being tricked and played by the enemy. The enemy go run circles around you. But nevertheless, man, wish God just choose to accept Christ and not choose to follow the wicked system of this world. Not choose to follow after our own path. Because I'm telling you, every person I've seen follow after their own path, they end up falling. They end up being destroyed. I've yet to see one person who followed after their own path and won. They all lost. They all either lost or they went through a bunch of drama. They end up in a bunch of problems or they're not happy. Look at all these people who are millionaires and billionaires. They got all this money and many of them are still not happy. Many of them still are in drugs. Many of them are still get into a bunch of drama. You got celebrities who got all this money yet they still get into drama. How you guys millionaires and billionaires and you're still in drama? Why don't you just go sit down and go enjoy your money, go live out your life in a peaceful way? Why you guys gotta be starting beef with one another? Why you guys gotta be in constant trouble with one another? You guys supposed to be millionaires and billionaires. You got all that money. It should be easy for you to sit down and chill. But you know why? Because they don't have God. They ain't accepted Christ. That's why they bound to demons. They bound to drama. They addicted to drama. But you see, that when you don't accept Christ, you bound to that type of lifestyle. You bound to straight foolishness that don't make no sense. How you have all that money and you beef for one another? Help that make sense. It don't make no sense. Because if you give me $1 million, $1 billion, I'm going to go sit down, go enjoy my life and thank God. And just go sit down and enjoy my life in peace and quietness. I'm not about to be starting a bunch of drama. What's the point? But nevertheless, guys, while this world is going, it's very important that many people accept Christ before it's too late. Because every day, every second, you got many people dying. You even got a lot of young people dying nowadays. You got people not living to see 20 no more. You got young people not living to see 18 no more. And you see, once you reach the age of accountability, once you know wrong from right, you can go to hell. You see, that means if a 14-year-old dies in sin, they could go to the same hell as a adult, as a 50 and 60 and 40-year-old. You see, once you know wrong from right, God holds you accountable. That's why you gotta make sure that you accept Christ, because if you're a young person, you sleep with all those girls in school, in your high school, in your college, and you're in your teenage years, early 20s, you could definitely go to hell too. You're not exempt. You know wrong from right. You know that all of them, your parents probably taught you all those girls are not good. Not that all those men are not good, and that sleep around is not good. Not only will your parents teach you, but God himself will give you a conscience. God himself, you ever heard that small, still voice speak to you? That's God himself speaking. God himself will tell you when you're not doing what's right. He'll tell you, hey, stop doing what you're doing. Stop those drugs. Stop that alcohol. Stop sleeping with all them people. God himself will tell you what you're doing is not right. So, for people who say, oh, I never knew, no, listen, God gave you a conscience. And I end up with the Holy Spirit goes around the world convicting people. And God, he'll convict you. So you ain't gonna have no excuse in judgment day. But nevertheless, guys, just accept Christ before it's too late. You know, time's winding down. These are our last days, and you know, any moment Jesus can crack that sky. So we just gotta make sure we're ready. And you know, guys, just stay prayed up, stay blessed. Have a blessed day.